Welcome back to my animal education series. Today we'll be talking about an animal that you guys probably don't put a whole lot of thought towards on most days, and these are garden spiders. A lot of people don't put a whole lot of thought towards them unless they see these spiders in their house. And like most people, I would prefer those spiders to be outside as well. But these animals, whether you like it or not, are all around us, and they are extremely beneficial. Most of you guys watching this are probably arachnophobic, and that means you have a fear of spiders. And a lot of people do. It is one of the most common phobias in the United States, and I have reason to believe it's probably the same in most other countries as well. Spiders are often portrayed as the villain or the main monster in a lot of horror movies. For example, Arachnophobia with Jeff Daniels and John Goodman. The name is pretty straightforward as to what the movie is about and what it kind of entails, and along with Ice Spiders and Tarantula all the way back from 1955. And a lot of people from the Midwest, like myself, are pretty aware of Svengoolie, and that Tarantula's movie pops up on there every once in a while. Now let's talk about basic spider anatomy. So, like all arachnids, these spiders have segmented bodies. The front part of the body is called the cephalothorax, which has the eyes, the fangs, the stomach, the legs, and then the back part of the body is called the abdomen. That has the spinnerets and the web glands. All spiders have 8 eyes with a singular lens. And on a lot of spiders, these eyes work differently. On a spider like a jumping spider, these spiders can see in color. And for a castaneting spider, their eyes are typically larger so they can have a larger field of view. For spiders that typically sit there and ambush their prey using their webs, they don't rely so much on eyesight, so their eyesight is not that good, comparatively. And then they mostly rely on the vibrations from prey entering their web to go after them and eat their food. Spinnerets are small appendages on the back of the abdomen, and a lot of spiders will use their silk production differently. While a lot of our garden variety spiders like we're talking about in this video will build elaborate webs to catch their prey and any person who happens to go through them while they're mowing the lawn. And spider silk is actually one of the highest tensile strengths of any material ever discovered. It is very much compared to steel cables in its tensile strength, which is what people use to hold up large bridges, like the Golden Gate Bridge, for example. These spiders are very beneficial as they try to eat other harmful insects that are in your yard, such as mosquitoes, flies, wasps, and aphids. And if you saw the video that I did with Shelby on safari, these spiders are very much like the bats. But except for the bats will eat a whole lot more insects in a night, while these spiders will typically only eat 1 to 2 insects a day. Another benefit of spiders is that researchers are looking into their venom for curing diseases, treating medical conditions, and for pain management. And some of the spiders that they are looking at is the Brazilian wandering spider, black widow, no, not that one, the black widow spider, and the Australian funnel web spider. The venom from the black widow spider may be used to help patients with Alzheimer's, the Brazilian wandering spider's venom may be used to help stroke victims, and the Australian funnel web spider may be used to help people with pain mitigation. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of spiders will use their silk for different purposes. Some will build elaborate webs, others will build tent-like structures, and others will build really elaborate traps. And if you are like me and you didn't click off the video as soon as I mentioned that spiders are beneficial, you may want to stick around to see how spiders actually build their webs. I was curious about this myself, and I found a lot of great info on the How Stuff Works website. Once a web building spider finds a place that they finally want to build their nest, they will use their spinnerets and attach a piece of silk to point A. Then they'll let the breeze take that, and wherever that piece of silk ends up, that will end up being point B. Once it hits point B, they will tighten that strand and add a second piece of silk to that to help strengthen it up a little bit. Then, you guys have seen spider webs, like they're not perfect circles or anything, but for the point of this, I will say it's kind of a circle. So they'll do that kind of circle around point A and point B and that initial strain of silk, and then once that little circle is done, they'll put a bunch of pieces of silk and webbing in between all of them to help strengthen it up. And then once they're done with that, they just sit and wait for the insects to show up. It's kind of like DoorDash, but for spiders. They build the trap and they just have to wait for the food to show up, which as I mentioned earlier will be flies, mosquitoes, wasps, aphids, and other insects and bugs like that. The spider will be able to instantly feel any vibration from that web, from any insect that's getting tangled in that web. Then they'll go over and bite the victim to eventually kill it, and then wrap it up for later eating. Most people probably haven't thought too much about spider breeding, but it is a very difficult and complex activity. Most spiders are solitary, so when it comes to breeding, they have to go out and actually find a female. But the females make it a little bit easier for them by putting pheromones on their webs. While if the male will go out and find the female's web, sometimes they'll have to fight off other males. But if they don't have to do that and they finally get to the female, they have the opportunity to breed. Once they breed, before they breed, they'll actually remove the pheromones from the female's web to prevent other males from coming to them. And then they will breed with the female, and then she will kill him. It's kind of brutal actually, but so is nature, I guess. Once the baby spiders hatch out of their eggs, a lot of spider species will actually go up to the top part of a bush or a tree or just a high point in general, and they will shoot off a web of silk into the air and the wind will carry them off. Now this fun little activity is called ballooning. If you guys would like to learn more about spiders, or more specifically tarantulas, then be sure to check out my friends Tarantula Cat and Petco from The Dark Den on YouTube. I will link their YouTube channels down below. They are both good friends of mine, and I've met them both at various Show Me shows up in St. Louis. Super great people, super nice, and they have a ton of information on spiders and tarantulas. So be sure to check out their channels because they know a whole lot more than I do. Thank you guys so much for checking out this week's episode. Don't forget to leave a big thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I will see you next week.